Greetings all, thedvsmonkey here. Been a couple of days. I've taken the time to do a few things. Number one, relax. Two, test out a bunch of new gear. And three, look outside longingly because it just keeps raining. I don't think it's any surprise if you've watched any of the few videos that I've made about this Sony ZV1 that I love this freaking camera. And it has just been a joy to shoot with. I carry it with me everywhere now, and I generally decided to keep it pretty much on this Sony grip. And even if I don't have it on the grip, I bring it with me because it's just so easy to zoom and start and stop recording and all that kind of stuff. It's been perfect. I have not gotten to the final iteration of this camera simply because of the fact that the small rig cage, according to the website, is like 5 weeks out. And in reality, I know that that means it's longer than 5 weeks before they start stocking it again. And who knows how many people have bought the small rig cage for this. So, I could be the first one. I could be the 10 millionth one. Then you have to take into account that it's coming on the slow boat from China. So I'm guessing it's going to be probably not until November before I see that cage, which did hamper my evil plans a little bit. But as you know, I got that Zhiyun rig, which allows me to open the door and get the battery and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. I also got this ring adapter, threaded ring adapter in 52 millimeters. Basically, it just has a sticker on the back and it pushes and adheres to the flat area around the lens opening. And then I got my K&F variable ND filter, which for now pretty much lives on there because even at the lowest setting of ND2, it's usually bright enough around here that I can leave it on there and it doesn't really do all that much to it. Today I ordered a triple set of a UV filter, circular polarizer, and it comes with another ND filter, which I don't really need because I have this one, but it comes in the set. I was asked a question where somebody asked me, can you use it in portrait mode on the Crane M2? And, my simple answer is no, not the way it's set up. You'd have to have a cage or some kind of contraption to be able to do that. So even though I have the special small rig plate thingamajigger here to take, some kind of archetype plate, and I have that plate on the camera, there's no way for you to mount any kind of plate like that on the bottom here, again, unless you have a cage. Now, because I have this Zhiyun rig thing that is just a bottom plate and allows me to put that quick release on the bottom of it, it does not wrap around the entire camera like the small rig cage. And I know that the small rig cage has quarter 20 holes all around it. Once I get that, I'll shoot a video and I'll try to balance the camera like this. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. It's light enough that it should be able to take it. Hopefully it won't be, too top heavy and screw it all up, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All that being said, I definitely like the way this camera, the way it currently is, makes everything very easy that because of course I have everything with these stupid quick release plate contraptions. So, there's my small rig quick release thing on that Sony grip. Then I have the quick release thing on the Crane. And then I have these tiny little quick release things on pretty much everything else. I mean, I can put those on anything. And that leads me to what I'm going to talk about here, is this whole contraption goes onto this Pico Dolly. The Pico Dolly, it's basically like an old-fashioned roller skate, It's just a metal plate that has 4 wheels on it, and the wheels, if I loosen these, which I'm not going to do, but you can turn the wheels. That way, if you wanted to dolly around something in an arc, you could do it. It's a simple piece of gear. Now it has holes, quarter 20 holes. Let's see if I can angle that. Yeah, all like 3 of them, one on each side and then the one in the middle. So what I did was I have like a drawer full of parts. So I took one of these mounting screws that has, threads and then no threads so that it adheres through, but it won't fall out. And then it has the little ring so that you can get a hold of it and you can tighten stuff down on it. Now, the other thing it came with is one of these, I guess they call them magic arms or whatever, and it just twists in any direction that you want it to, and you tighten it down with one lever, and it's good to go. I was shooting some stuff, which I'm going to show you now, on this Pico Dolly that is now perfect with this ZV1. I had gotten this a long time ago. I saw it and I thought that looks really interesting, and I put it on my wish list, and I got it for Christmas, and I tried it once and I never used it again because it was so awkward, and my cameras were just like, they were so big. I was trying to use it with the GH5. I mean, it's not like it's a huge camera, and it would work, but it was just very awkward, and I didn't really care for it. So in the drawer of unused gear it went, until the other day when I thought, I bet you this would work really well with the ZV1. And it did. So I put my little Arca clamp on top of it, stuck the sucker on there, and I can actually get some pretty decent footage. Now, the thing is that this is not motorized at all. It is very smooth, and it's provided that you have a smooth surface, it glides along effortlessly. And I was able to do the shot of me drinking the coffee, using my left arm to push it along, and I did it as subtly as I could so it didn't look like I was sitting there pushing this thing along with my left arm. You got to do what you got to do when you're a one-man show. I also then pulled it along the carpet, and fortunately the cat cooperated with me that one time, and I got that little shot of him. If you really want to, like if I were to take this to the boardwalk or something like that, it'd be really tough to have me in the shot. Like there's no way that I could be in the shot, pulling this thing along the boardwalk. Probably the best thing to do would be to have some kind of, I was thinking paracord. That way you could put paracord around one of the locking mechanisms here, and you could slowly, like pull it in from a distance, and hopefully that would be fine. Now, if there's cracks and rocks and shit all over your path, it's not gonna work and it's gonna jiggle. That's why I thought, hey, why not put the Crane M2 on there? And now, like, it's on there. It's not coming off. So believe it or not, adding that bottom U-rig plate completely changed the balance of this camera on the Crane M2. So I actually had to move it over because it kept flopping over. But what I was trying to show you is that now that I've got it on here, it stays. So in theory, if I felt like readjusting all my shit there to show you this, you now have not only this little dolly to get a nice smooth dolly shot, but you've also got the benefit of the Crane M2 in addition to the built-in stabilization, which we all know I love, and it just makes it perfect. I mean, it's amazing. So, hooray. It's actually forgotten gear that now has a purpose. So when it stops raining, I plan on going back outside and playing around with this stuff. I mean, I can only show you so many shots going across my desk drinking coffee, or the cat's only gonna let me do that so many times before, he's just gonna knock this shit over and then scratch me. So that's what we're left with. But I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that sometimes old gear, things that you bought that you thought you were gonna use that you don't, and they're just sitting in a box somewhere, sometimes later in the future end up having a pretty good use. When you get different gear, or you have a different idea of how you can use said gear. And that's totally the case with this Pico Dolly. I mean, rock on. The other thing is that because I didn't really think that I was gonna like the stabilization on the ZV1, I had my Crane M2. Turns out that the stabilization actually is really good for me on the ZV1, but it's perfect if I put it on the Crane M2. Now, like that commercial where the peanut butter and the chocolate guy run into each other and now they come up with a Reese's cup, I think this is actually a perfect setup here. This Pico Dolly with the Crane M2 and the ZV1, wow, it's amazing. That's all I wanted to talk about. Like I said before, I wanted to start showing like different reviews on some of the gear that I have, that's just been sitting around that I haven't used, or gear that I have used that I haven't mentioned before. We all know I love this ZV1. We all know I love the Crane M2. Now I love my Pico Dolly combined with the rest of them. And it's gonna be awesome. If you have any questions, put them down below. Keep them coming. And as I get more gear in, then by all means, I'll incorporate those into future videos, especially the one about turning the ZV1 on this Crane M2. As soon as I get that cage, I'll do it. But that's it. That's all I got. As always, thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe, and all that shit. And remember, kids, forward and up.